a lot of dirty work and beyond. But what do you say to a teammate who was down on himself? Because he clearly was down on himself late in the final seconds here this game tonight.
Get another opportunity. I mean, we trust in what he does, and he's provided so much for us all year. Not going to, harp on one game, and he knows that. And obviously, as a competitor, you take it, pretty hard when you don't play the way that you want to. And that's what I respect most, especially his accountability and the way that, he responds. So it's a tough way to go into the break, but like the way that we all played, like the way he fought, and just got to take the positives, fix up a couple of things, come back, strong next week, get ready for the stretch run.
Steph, could you break down the final defensive possession?
Yeah, they ran, post entry to get Jokic the world to figure out what he wanted to do. I took the bait, made a dumb read. Was a step late, thinking the clock had run down enough where it was only his opportunity to shoot, and he made a great pass. And then I realized where I was and tried to make a play on the ball and contest a shot, and Monty made a clutch bucket, and I gave it to him. So the last thing you can do in that situation is give up a three. I did that.
How do you generally enter the break thinking about the season? Obviously, the record, wide scope is good, but you're 1-4 entering the break, and obviously this loss is probably tough.
It's difficult because we played well enough to win tonight, and we wanted to. I said it after the game in LA. We wanted to have an opportunity to go into the break on a high note, and for 47 minutes and 55 seconds, we gave ourselves a good shot to do that. He makes the game winner, changes the vibe dramatically. But like you said, we're in a solid position in terms of where we are in the standings. Optimism, we'll get a couple guys back or a few guys back at some point after the break. And then we got to figure out what our rotation is going into the playoffs. But I guess overall it's a solid place to be. You have to focus on that. And if we play like we did tonight, consistently down the stretch and continue to elevate our performance on the defensive end, we're going to be just fine going into, again, the stretch run of the season. So tonight was a decent step in the right direction, even though we feel like trash right now.
We always remind you that you described the season in the beginning as 3 stages, without Clay, adjusting to Clay, and then the final season with the final stretch with Clay. Is at this point now, because of everything that's happened, waiting for Draymond, is that almost, do you have to try to push that away, or is it, okay, this is going to be fixed when Draymond's back?
Fix is a tough word just because there are other things that we have to correct while getting him, back up to speed. Obviously, Andre hasn't played a lot as of late. And then the question marks around what Wise is going to bring at some point. So we are in that final third of the year. We haven't been whole in a long time, so you're trying to hold the fort down, because I know the way that we are constructed and the way that pieces fit, we can compete with anybody. We know that. And, you scrap and claw when guys are out of the next man up mentality, but our ceiling is only, predicated on everybody being available. It's pretty straightforward. So the details of how we execute and how we play tonight and what we corrected in terms of defensive effort was great. We do need Draymond. We need Andre. We need guys, to be healthy and see what we have in terms of, full full rotation, full roster, and kind of go from there. So until that happens, just keep plugging, keep building, and young guys keep getting reps and see what happens.
Kerr switched up the rotation pretty significantly tonight, and one of the big parts was you and Clay being split up a lot. Did you feel the difference, and how did you? And also with Gary Payton in the starting lineup, what did you think about the way this rotation kind of fit tonight?
It helped in terms of, I think we all know, Clay's trying to get back to a full, stretch of minutes where he's playing 34, 35, whatever it is. And you want to be as consistent as possible from game to game. I know every player thrives off of that in terms of understanding when you're going to be in, when you're going to be out, who you're going to be out there with, and finding those patterns. And, for obvious reasons, we have had to kind of mix it up from time to time and haven't been able to build up, a stretch of consistent rotation like that. So especially since Clay's been back, so we're building in that direction. We want one of us on the floor at all times, and however that happens, we obviously know going into the game. And Coach talked to us before the game about what that was going to look like, and if anything does change, down the stretch, we'll have those conversations. But it was great to see GP impact the game the way he did, and give us a huge boost on it, especially on the defensive end. So, we'll see what happens when we come back.
Okay, I was actually going to touch on Gary, and what does his presence, in the starting lineup do for you guys to set that tone right away defensively?
He does what he does. He impacts the game on the ball. Blocked Jokic at one point. Even offensively, he's cutting, slashing, giving us a different look. So, very impactful 25 minutes tonight. You look at his plus minus, like no coincidence it showed up like that. So, just he stays ready depending on how he's, when he's called and what he's asked to do. But we know defensively, he's always going to be a disruptor out there, and we do need that, and we've needed that, I guess, over the last little bit.
Steph, do you think Cannon was going to stay out on that court as long?
He definitely was going to try to take GP's starting spot.
Okay, was that a special moment though for you guys before the game?
It was obviously a great surprise, and to see them all run out and enjoy that moment was definitely special for sure. And all three of us out there being fathers is kind of crazy how things have changed over the years. So definitely special. Yeah, if Raymond tried to get him off, he wasn't having it. So I felt felt bad he was still out there. So if he was if I let him, he would have stayed out there the entire 48 minutes.
Raymond was in pretty good position. Cannon just put a good move on him. Huh?
I should have learned that when I hit that game winner back in the day.
Hey, does these last week or two sort of show how thin the margin for error is? I mean, you guys won 9 in a row, even though a couple times I think Steve wasn't thrilled with the way you were playing, but you won 9 in a row and then switched very quickly to losing 4 out of 5. And tonight, obviously, the margin's very thin, right? 1 possession. How much of these last couple of weeks sort of a reminder that it can change quickly and it doesn't take a lot? I mean,
that's a narrative every year. You have to kind of create your own luck with the way you execute, the effort that you give every night. You know you're not going to shoot the ball great every night. You know the other team's going to have a hot hand every once in a while, but you don't win consistently in this league without the attention to detail and especially with, again, the mixing and matching of rotations that we've had and guys in and out the lineup. So we were playing alpha for a while, and like you said, we won 9 in a row and had a couple of tough losses. 1 good win, last 5. I choose to say we've won 10 out of the last 14 and keep it moving.
Steph, you before, the shot that looked like it was a game winner, looked like you were determined to get inside the arc. What were you thinking on that possession, and how much was that inspired by the Houston game winner?
That was just a read on how they were defending our guard-to-guard pick and rolls, because the first time I shot the three in the left wing, again, I thought it was a good shot, just a little long, but I had an advantage to kind of get downhill, and I chose to use that in terms of getting some separation on a step back. And it was kind of the exact same pattern on the other side on that next play. I felt like I could kind of turn the corner and get downhill. I thought I was going to be able to get all the way to the basket the way that they were guarding pick and roll, but they kind of switched late. I still got to my spot. So just a read you make based on how they were guarding us down the stretch, and being decisive with it. I think at the end of the day, whenever we are decisive, good things happen.
Overall, what was the message during the timeout before that final possession, and just how much harder does Jokic's unique skill set make that defensively?
It was don't give up a three, obviously. And then, his passing ability, obviously, it created that play. He got kind of to the middle, Loon played great defense, and it was, again, a read of the timing. I tried to show myself in the paint to kind of keep him off balance, and then he actually showed his eyes to the rim, and I thought I could just help make it a difficult shot, and then he hit that nice little shovel pass to Morris and knocked it down. So to your point, like we saw the last 4 minutes of Ben, he put a lot of pressure on us in the paint. I didn't erase that from my mind in terms of the situation quick enough to make the right play, so he got me on that one.
One of the themes of the team during your success has been kind of a sense of joy and freedom. But these games seem like they're more of a grind. Are you kind of resigned to the fact that that's what it's going to be like? It's going to be more of a grind than a joyful experience, to put it another way.
It's always, I guess it kind of goes back to the fine line of winning and losing. Like, winning is obviously fun. And when you're not playing well and your deficiencies are kind of highlighted, game after game, that's not ever a good feeling. So you do have to bring joy and bring energy to kind of get yourself out of it, but it's never going to be an easy fix or something that just happens by itself. So it's a little bit of both, but I think considering how the last 4 games we came out with really good energy and had some fun tonight, and put ourselves in a pretty good position to get a win going into the break, and then it didn't happen. So,
what do you think about what Jokic has just become overall?
I mean, it's tough. It puts pressure on you all game, and you got to respect not only his ability to post up and put pressure on the paint. He knocked down 3 threes tonight. He is obviously an amazing playmaker. So when they're doing all that motion around him, everybody has to be on alert to take away passing angles and lanes, and because he sees the court so well. And then obviously, even just the offensive rebounding, like, those tip ins and stuff, you play good defense, he still finds his way right underneath the basket. He's got good touch to keep it up there on the rim and finish. So he's got kind of a full package, and guys are hitting shots around him, and it makes it super tough to figure out how you want to defend him. He's obviously the MVP for a reason last year, and he's playing arguably as good as last year. So I don't know how to hype him up anymore.